philosophical about that, or are you concerned with the decisive nature of it?
No, more a little bit philosophical. We'd certainly like to have been better, but when the whips were cracking early, when the game was at its hottest, it looked like a team that was really tuned in. But we're on their game, and we're getting the ball and spreading, both offensively and defensively, and they're going around us really. And I thought our second half was a lot better than the first, obviously. But in the first got an out of the middle. They scored and cleared the ball, and we were on the back foot, and we couldn't really get near them. So, look, there's always, you can look at the mitigating circumstances, some challenges, but they handle well. I think they've settled into the community camp up here. Been here since Thursday, I think, and will continue. But I mean, there's some reasons, but we would have liked to be better. But we understand it's their second game, it's our first one. But it just highlights how brutal the competition is and how ordinary it can look if you're not playing with the intensity and the work rate that you need at AFL footy. So we'll go away, some failures feedback. There'll be things that we can clearly identify and we need to implement going forward into our next JLT game against Collingwood, I think it is. So, look, there's 5 weeks to round one. After this week going in, there was 5, so there's 4 to go. So we know we've worked really hard. We're still in the shadows of a really heavy training load. They come off a 3-day break, so we went into the new facility. There's a lot going on. But again, we need to sort of refocus pretty quickly, or very quickly. We'll have a sharp review, identify it, and we're looking for a greater effort of work rate next week, obviously.
Fyfe's return, he was clearly your best player.
Yeah, I thought he led really well. If you think about it, McCarthy hasn't played in a year and a half. Fyfe hardly played in a year and a half. Johnson, virtually a full year. And then there's one other tucked away in there somewhere. So, and some new players and some young players. So, Michael Johnson will get better, McCarthy will get better, Fyfe will get better. And we trialled a couple of things today, but our young players understand Langdon's a great runner, but he also understands Gaff is a great runner and decision maker. And I thought Connor Blakely went in and played with some good intensity. I thought Ballantyne and Walters, when we gave them opportunities, looked dangerous. I think Shane Kirsten, his first game for us, when we gave some opportunities, looked good. And at the end, to see Sean Darcy back into that pack, we've got really high hopes for him. And look, we'll add a little bit next week. Sandilands will come back in, Neil will come back in. We'll trim the squad. There are some performances that we'll see some players go to the team. And so we hope to, we aim to be sharp and get moving pretty quickly from here.
Ross, with those newer faces and some coming off the long breaks, do you need to be patient with this group?
Yeah, look, I was really calm today. We're all a bit disappointed. We'd like a better performance. And, the Eagles were very strong. I think for their squad, I'm not too bad. It was a very strong team. So we'll add to it. We've got a dual narrative. We're aiming high this year, but we all signed off on a 4-year rebuild last year. Really restump, rewire, replumb. And that hasn't changed from list manager, president, CEO, coach, football operation manager, and our leadership group. But it still means in the near term, we're aiming to win and play better footy than we played today. So, I mean, that's going to be going on from now until the next 4 years. So, but we know, we understand what's required to be a great team. We know the work rate, we know the hardness, and the decision making, and we'll continue to shift until we get there. But clearly, we want to be a lot better than we were today.
Was there any injury concerns today?
Clear at the minute, unless anything comes through, but we would let you know.
How did you rate the newcomers? Ross McCarthy, Hamling, Brad Hill in particular?
Yeah, well, Brad Hill's an interesting one. He almost didn't play today because he has some allergy reactions, and he had one. We were almost going to tap him out, so I think it was a tough day for him. But we know he can really play. Kirsten looked sharp when we gave him some opportunities. I thought McCarthy worked, but he looked like a player. Hadn't played an AFL game in 2 years, so that's what he looked like. So, look, we know there's some ability there, and we know there's work rate. And the same as Fyfe, there's only upside from there.
Were you concerned at all with the way they were able to pick their way through you?
Not really. That happens. That happens when you don't play with intensity. And I mean, they had 200 kicks to 100 kicks. I mean, there was really 200 more disposals. How good they are, we're not as bad as we showed today. I know that. I don't say that lightly, but we've got a lot of work to do. So, but they'd walk away. They should be really pleased, and I mean, they're a top 4 team from last year. We weren't playing mugs, and we come into a difficult situation with a lot of new players. But our expectations are higher than what we delivered today. But it's a sharp reminder to bring work rate, or you get embarrassed really quickly.
Ross, after a challenging first half, is it a case of getting around to the younger guys and just setting some manageable targets just to kind of get their heads back toward the right where you want to go?
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do. But we thought we did that. We weren't taking many uncontested marks. It's a massive oval. It's 180 long and 140 wide and in 38-degree heat. So, you know, they were building the ball and controlling the ball. We've spoke about a few times we did do it. We looked really good and we scored. So, and at critical times, I thought there were some fumbles and drop marks that, you know, we certainly were never going to win the game, but we would have been a bit closer than it looked like. That's what I thought. But Valentine and Walters and those guys with some opportunities look really dangerous.
And aside from the result and the weather, did you enjoy Geraldton?
Yeah, well, look, to be truthful, we got in last night. It was only a 40-minute trip. I lost my phone on the plane, so that was a bit stressful. But, yeah, we stayed at the Ibis. We loved the beach, but I didn't get into town, and we're straight out. So it's a hit and run from us. But to see the turnout and in the adverse weather, the hot conditions, you know, the passion for footy up here is really strong. And I know West Coast have immersed themselves in the community, so that can only be a good thing for football, really.
You mentioned Darcy. Do you think he's capable of playing AFL footy?
Sean Darcy, he's going to play AFL football. He's going to be a good ruckman. I think his courage, he keeps his feet, his competitiveness. Look, he went to Xavier, got a really high TR, he was a border. He come through heavy. He's a bit like that Mumford model. So, yeah, we've got really high belief in what Sean's capable of doing, and he's got a work rate to match his ability. So, yeah, in the fullness of time, he's going to be a really good player for it. We're thrilled with him.
Ross, it appeared like you named a pretty strong lineup today. Do you stick with that for the rest of the pre-season, given such an overhaul last year of the list?
Yeah, well, just to clarify, we are bringing back Sandilands and Neil next week, so they will play, so they'll come straight in. And a number of those players, their first game, I know they're good, but most of them need to build in. If you miss a year of footy, it's pretty tough. So, but hopefully we'll trim that. We had 18 and 8. It's very cumbersome. We'll trim it down next week and start prioritising minutes. There's no doubt about that.
Well, so I know it's been a flying visit, but the reaction from the fans here has been enthusiastic to you guys playing, and the city's keen on you guys coming back again for successive years. What's your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, mine, I'll go anywhere, anytime, anyone, anywhere. So, but it's a higher station to me, the executive of the club. I let the cobblers do the cobbling, so I'll leave it to them. Thank you. Yeah.
If you did come back, would your preference be to play under the lights?
Oh, it doesn't worry me, man, anywhere, anytime, but hopefully it'll be better than